This is MBC Exclusive. My name is Blessings Chireuka. In this edition, I'm engaging the Attorney General Thabo Chakaka Nyirenda. Glad you could join us. Welcome to MBC Exclusive.
Thank you.
You managed to recover the swindled AIP fertilizer money from Barat Foods Limited. Can you briefly share with us the experience you went through?
In terms of the experience that I went through, I think we'll start with what was going on in the news. You recall that there were people that were calling for my resignation on account that I failed to, in my undertaking to have the money recovered. But what you must remember is that I'd given a promise, or I'll say an undertaking, or maybe a covenant to say, I will recover this money, come May of sunshine, by 31st December 2023. If I don't, I'm going to resign from my position as Attorney General. So maybe that's quite of the thing that I would say as an experience that I went through. Of course, people were impatient, some were pessimistic, that the monies were not going to be recovered. And then the other thing is that that kind of cooperation that I had, I was working with the Munich prosecutors, the Prosecutor General from Munich, and his deputies and staff. So there were over 15 people that were dedicated to work on the case. And then we're also talking about not only a person that was not a German citizen, this person was a citizen of Estonia. So here we're talking about a matter that had footprints in over 4 jurisdictions. So we're talking about Germany, Malawi, South Africa, United States of America, England, and Ireland. So therefore, in that case, because this matter started in England, I had to work with the officials for the High Commission, in the Marian High Commission in the United Kingdom, particularly Dr. Thomas Bisika and his deputy, Justice Agnes Patemba, and also had to work with the Malawian ambassador to Germany, Father Josephine Kandawiri. So now looking here as well, that experience of working with people as a team, working with people from several countries that are actually less than in several countries, that actually I would say a unique experience in Black. And that kind of cooperation, because that was one of my, maybe I would say, the most successful cases in terms of international cooperation in legal matters or in criminal matters. And then, of course, that also looking at the time that I've said that the money should be recovered by the 1st December, but you know here that by July that money had been recovered. So I want to say in terms of the experience in brief.
Did you mean your word when you said that you'd resign?
Yes, that I meant. And I repeat it, that if I don't recover the money by the 1st December 2023, I was going to resign. And then, of course, I know that some people were actually saying, oh, these people are saying, does he mean it? When he says that he's going to resign if he doesn't recover the money by the 1st December 2023. But you know what? That money was recovered. I meant it because doing that, coming to that promise, it meant that I had studied all the documents and also explored on the strengths and the weaknesses. I noted that the case was exceedingly strong, and that, of course, that there was no way the swindlers, the logs, I think I could even remember the name of this Estonian national, Andre Grunbaum, would be able to succeed in any case against him.
The question now is, how much did it cost taxpayers or government to recover this money?
Zero.
What do you mean?
Zero, what I mean is that, you know, that these are processes that are in court. And of course, what I would also say, even the question to say how much you spent would be misleading. And that is in the sense that when they are court matters, they invariably what happens or follows is that the one that caused that person that has taken the case to court to be in that position is supposed to be reimbursed for all the expenses that were incurred.
People were expecting to have some heads rolling over this, but your office is so quiet on this. Once you manage to recover the money, you've gone quiet.
I think it would also be misleading to say we've gone quiet. You cannot just go and say, okay, let's go against this person. Because for you to start even going against this person, no, I mean, we're talking about his going rolling. We started with this person in Germany, who also started with this gentleman in the United States of America. I can also give you the name, Solomon Chowdhury. But for those that would say in Malawi, say, okay, we should have done something against those people, there are two things. The first thing is that when you analyze the surrounding factors and circumstances, you also see that these people were also duped.
Okay.
Yes, they were victims. But then, of course, maybe there could have been something that would have been done. But when you say, perhaps for now, let's do something against them, you also need to have thorough investigations. Because in the end, they say hurry is no speed. If you do things in a hurry, you also mess up, and then you begin, of course, to be required to pay compensation to those people that maybe you think that something should happen against them. But what I can assure you is that the Anti-Corruption Bureau is investigating the matter. The police are also investigating the matter, and that you cannot begin to take an action against maybe those individuals that would say participated in the transaction without a thorough investigation. And then when you do that, if it's a criminal case, you also need to prove all the elements of the offense. If the elements of one element is missing, there's no way you can move forward. But well, my assurance is that things are working. We're not sitting down. Maybe perhaps action will be taken, but we cannot do it in a hurry for fear of actually requiring the government to pay money in form of compensation because of rushed decision or incurring unnecessary and avoidable expenses.
Moving on to another issue, there are speculations, there are rumors that government is under much pressure from international community to have homosexual cases or homosexual marriages or relationships acknowledged in our constitution. Can you confirm this?
I think maybe we should also be very careful when we base our decisions or conclusions on rumors and speculations. You have rightly called them speculations and rumors. And what I can tell you for sure is that there is no pressure whatsoever from any country to say you have to put these things in your constitution. But what I can see is that there are those people that think that we should have those laws in Malawi trying to legalize homosexual relationships. So, and then of course, these people are financed. But that fact of them being financed to take cases to court by some independent bodies or institutions is not akin to actually that pressure that you are referring to, the tremendous pressure from the international community to legalize homosexual relationship. So the short answer to that is that there is no such pressure. You have used an adjective, tremendous pressure. So
that's a good
yes, so there isn't that pressure or no tremendous pressure at all on government to legalize same-sex relationship in Malawi.
Moving on to another topic, anti-corruption in Malawi. When you assumed the office, there was this drive against corruption in Malawi.
Yeah, yes.
How can you assess it? Are we winning the battle? Are we winning the fight?
I would say we're winning the battle. Of course, maybe there's high expectation. I think you may be hearing of so many cases that are pending before court. But I think what I would say slowly will be.
We are on the right track.
We're on the right track.
Why is it that high-profile cases are taking too long to be completed?
Maybe give an example. The high-profile case that is taking too long to be completed.
Should I mention the names?
Yes.
Am I protected by the law?
Yes, because they're in court. So these are court cases that I mentioned. But maybe you was talking about high-profile cases. You may know that now if it is a high-profile case, it means that that person will be in a position to engage a high-profile lawyer, and that that high-profile lawyer, there are also mechanisms, inbuilt mechanisms in the constitution and also statutes that protect accused person. You know, these people are innocent until proven guilty. I think you're aware about that, and that those rights that are given to accused persons, these people tend to utilize them, and they utilize them. And of course, those are rights that also tend to delay cases. And maybe or I would say that if there are scenarios or instances of high-profile cases taking long, it will be one of those instances, or maybe reasons. One of the reasons that maybe there's applications before court. It's a right, and actually you cannot say that you have to convict that person before he attends for trial. And like witnesses have to be paraded. And then if they are paraded, they have to be cross-examined. And then, of course, that's what means. What that means is that there's a trial. So there can only be a conviction if, yes, you have got ample evidence. And then, of course, if the prosecution has managed to prove the case beyond reasonable doubt. Other than that, of course, that's why you'll be seeing some delays in some of the cases. But I ask you a question. So maybe you mention an instance of a high-profile case which has taken too long, and then I also give you the reason why that case has taken too long.
We have, for instance, the case to do with the former aide of the president, the former president of the country.
Yes.
Where are we with that case?
Yes, I know that the matter is in court, and that actually those are also the instances where we have applications before court trying to make use of the rights that are accorded to him under the Constitution. So, yes, the former aide case is in court, but I think it's a case that you would say that it might be concluded as soon as possible. And mind you, he's also innocent until proven guilty. So we cannot condemn him to say he's guilty when he's not guilty. So he remains an accused person. And as an accused person, he also has a right under the Constitution to utilize whatever defenses that he has, and that it will be up to the court to agree with him or not agree with him.
In case you're just joining us, this is MBC Exclusive, and I'm engaging the Attorney General Thabo Chakaka Nyirenda. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. This is MBC Exclusive. Welcome back, Attorney General. Now, people are concluding to say that you are trying to protect some big fish in the current government, bearing in mind at some point also you were advocating for what you called amnesty. Mm-hmm. Maybe before we go further, what did you mean by amnesty?
Maybe before I go to amnesty issue, you're talking about protecting big fish. Mm-hmm. Are you aware that some ministers, some principal secretaries, and also some members of parliament in the current government have been arrested? Actually, they are being charged for corruption. So now the question of protecting the big fish, of course, maybe I'll say maybe it's not factually correct, but perhaps if you're talking about, that's why I introduced amnesty. I will ask you at your own free time to just Google how much Angola has so far recovered using this process. Now, if you Google, and all the listeners, I can ask them to Google, I think you give me some time to explain amnesty. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so give me 5-6 minutes. So first of all, if you Google, you find that Angola recovered over $5 billion, yeah, through this process that I'm referring to. They didn't go to say, no, go and let's pursue this criminal case. They're pursuing, they're not abandoning the criminal cases, but also pursuing that simultaneously. Mm-hmm. The first thing is that amnesty is like a reconciliation in which where you say, okay, instead of you getting to be tried and convicted, we know that you stole 100 million kwacha. What is happening in Angola is, oh yeah, no, you only know about 100 million budget, but I also have another 50 million. So you bring the 150 million, and it works, you know. So amnesty is a situation where you're saying we'll not prosecute you in this sense, but instead, if you give us some money that you stole, even plus the gains that you realize on that money that you stole, and maybe additional monies, then we can also perhaps not proceed with the crime, the case. So I've given you an example of Angola. Mm-hmm. And the one that is similar, closer to amnesty, is what is actually happening in the United Kingdom. I'll give you 2 examples, you know. So in the United Kingdom, they have what they call the deferred prosecution agreement. deferred prosecution agreement. So you agree, prosecution and the accused person. You can Google that. So I can give you first case that was handled in the UK in a similar manner of Amnesty is that of Airbus and Rolls-Royce. Just check what happened. They were never convicted because they had paid some money and also some form of compensation to the UK government. The other one is Standard Bank. You can Google it as well. So Standard Bank was accused of failing to prevent bribery in the Republic of Tanzania for a subsidiary called Stanbic Bank in Tanzania. You can Google it as well. They engaged into an agreement with the prosecution, and the monies that they realized as a gain was paid to the UK government, and part of it went to the Tanzanian government. And then, of course, and these are big democracies. You're not talking about Malawi. They go into these things. And the idea as well, of course, in that particular case was, or perhaps Airbus, Airbus, Rolls-Royce, they manufacture engines for these planes, the Airbus things and like. So if you prosecute it, what will happen to the economy? What will also happen to, actually, these people are, this is a company that I got lawyers, the best lawyers. How long can the case take? It can take 10 years, 15 years. That's what they want. Now, these are the practical examples of what has been happening in other countries, and what has also been happening in Germany and other countries, So, and then, of course, I'll give an example which I also gave in an area interview. You have a phone. You have got a choice between you getting a phone and a money equivalent to the phone, and the person Y getting tried and risking that person getting acquitted. And if Y comes and says that I'm offering this money, I can pay you, your iPhone is worth 2.5 million kwacha, I'll pay you 2.5 million kwacha, but of course I can also pay you the other expenses, 2.6 million kwacha. And what would you choose? Would you choose to lose your phone and risk a criminal trial where there will be an acquittal, or maybe there may be a conviction, or you would want to have your money equivalent for the iPhone? Maybe I should ask you, which one would you choose? I said, give me time to explain. Mm-hmm. Now, I'll still explain. But I'm asking you the question. What would you choose? Would you choose the money, or would you choose that maybe me, I should go and get tried, and then you lose some money in terms of paying the expenses of the prosecution, the witnesses, and which one would you choose?
My viewer is better placed to answer that question.
Yeah.
But where are we with this administration?
Let me explain. I said you should give me time to explain.
All right.
The other thing is that when I mentioned about amnesty, I didn't say that it will apply to everyone. I said it will only apply to those people that would, one, provide suitable information that can be used against kingpins, which are called kingpins, corruption kingpins. And that these people will also be witnesses. Corruption, for example, is done in secret. So if it's done in secret, the only witness that you may have is the person that also participated in that corruption or corrupt activity. So if you say you take everybody to court, you have got no witnesses. Courts don't decide based on maybe if somebody is handsome or the person is beautiful, or they don't base on pity or emotions. They look at the facts and the law. So if the facts support the law, then they will decide in your favor, in the favor of the state. So in this particular case, you can accuse that person to say you have been engaged in corruption. And there's no witness that can say, oh yeah, this person was engaged in corruption, he did this, they this money, and this money you find it in this account, and he bought this house, whatever and like, you can trace it. Yeah, this house is registered in the name of his spouse, or his child, or his cousin, and like, you know what? So you need those persons. Those persons also need some protection. And then, of course, you give them amnesty. And the other thing is that somebody, they will make ways. Maybe they're Muslims, they're Christians, and like, they want to repent. And when they repent, I know that those that are biblical, they say, okay, when they repent, whatever, like Zacchaeus, he gave back whatever he stole from the people, I said, give me time to explain. And then I will also ask you another question. So now, those people that would voluntarily say, now I've made my life with my God, I want to repent, these are corrupt things, and don't say, okay, you have voluntarily come here, we didn't have evidence against you, and then okay, give us, but go back and make with your court. So that how it would apply. And the other question that I would ask as well: do you know, number one, do you know that tax evasion is a criminal offense? Do you know that?
Yes, I do.
You know. And do you know that each and every hour people are committing tax evasion?
Yeah, sure, yes.
And then you're talking about thousands and thousands of people. So if that happens, you know, they call them RIP year or career year, there's 365 days, 366
What I
days.
wanted to know from you, Attorney General, is that where are we?
Yes, so I think maybe because there are questions that I asked about where are we. I think maybe for the viewers also to understand this concept of amnesty is, I think for them to understand that, for example, you said there are cases involving high-profile people taking too long, and if maybe perhaps we had used this amnesty route, those cases may not have taken too long because maybe evidence would have been overwhelming. People that were offered amnesty could have come forward and say, oh yeah, now I can give it, or maybe they would also have given up for the fines or the property. And then the other thing, question I ask, we have 366 days. It means that if you're talking about tax evasion is a criminal offense, what it will mean is that the Malawi Revenue Authority, if you say, no, don't do amnesty, the Malawi Revenue Authority is doing amnesty every day, Malawi Revenue Authority. So Malawi Revenue Authority will have 99% of the people in law enforcement, prosecutors. And these people will be spending all their time in court. And that perhaps what will also be happening is that you have all of 366 days. So everywhere you've got a court. So that's what it will mean. And then, of course, maybe you would say, yeah, you are from NBC. And how many legal media houses have not paid taxes? So if you're saying tax evasion is a crime, it means all the media houses will close. You know? So is this what you mean? You want? And then, of course, we'll say, okay, pension. It's a criminal offense if you don't remit pension. So do you have to prosecute everyone? It means that those people would close. So if you understand that concept of say, okay, you have failed to pay taxes, we know it's a criminal offense. If you bring the money to us, we will not prosecute you. That's what MIR is doing. And then, of course, you have failed to pay pension. It's a criminal offense. Reserve Bank of Malawi, of course, they call him the registrar of financial institutions. So, yeah, it's a criminal offense not to remit pension for your contribution as required under the Pension Act. But you're owing us 100 million kwacha. Bring that money, we will not prosecute you. Isn't that amnesty? So I think overall, what I'm saying that I did a thorough research and also challenged you, and then you're saying this is for the viewer to do that. Go and Google and see how much money has been recovered by the Republic of Angola. It's a whopping $5 billion. And then they say in Malawi, what we need is $3 billion per year for exports. And that's $2 billion more than what we need per year to cover our imports.
People out there are complaining about passports.
Yeah.
It's hard to come by a passport nowadays. I'm told it's something to do with contracts, something like that. Can you just tell us briefly what is happening and where are we going?
In terms of passport, you know what, after the contract was terminated with Technobrand, which you said was very unfair on government. And by the way, what we also said that Technobrand's contract is not the only contract that is contract. I will come back to the passport issue later, because they are like monopolizing all the businesses that immigration is providing. They're doing the e-visas, the permits, and other things and that's. So that was one of the contracts that we said, this is too unconscionable and unfair to Malawians, because we're paying money as against the time, not as against the production.
When are you going to normalize the situation? Because people out there want to go to immigration and get their passports.
What I would say that from the reports that I got, and of course when I got those reports, I say, no, the situation is not good at all. What happened was that when I made some follow-ups, the assurance that I got was that in the next 2 weeks, and that was last week, in the next 2 weeks, maybe now 2 weeks from now, we have a situation where the passport situation will be normalized. I think there are thousands of bookers that are coming. And of course, there will also be, what we have done is that instead of Technobrand going through, immigration going through middlemen, the Department of Immigration and Citizenship Services will be going straight to the manufacturers, dealing with them, and then order whatever materials in bulk. This is where it's going to achieve the situation. So, but some of the things that to do with the passport situation, I said that my only role was on the legal aspect, the role of the officers at immigration to handle the technical aspects in terms of the procurement and how to do that. And like me, my role is only to guide them on compliance. But I think what I'm telling you is just a report that I got in terms of the passport situation in Malawi. But I think overall I would say that that decision to terminate that contract was done in the best interest of Malawi. And that was not the only what actually I will take this opportunity. That's not the only contract that we terminated in the best interest of the country. You may be aware there was that Agreco contract that was terminated in the best interest of the country because that was just milking the country. So there are several. Maybe at an opportune time we also have to deal with that. We have terminated so many contracts. And what I can assure you is that there have been a lot of savings for terminating those contracts. And over to your question, that the situation will normalize very soon.
Attorney General Thabo Chakaka Nyirenda, thank you for your time. I know you are always busy, but you found it possible to come and talk to our viewers.
Okay, thank you.
On that note, we conclude this edition of MBC Exclusive. My guest was Attorney General Thabo Chakaka Nyirenda. My name is Blessings Chideuka. Thank you for watching.